Well, greetings. Here we are in the C-Suite Network, Women's Coaching and Consulting Corporate Roundtable and Council. So delighted that each of you are here. And I have to tell you, this was an opportunity to get up really early because I was so excited. I'm so excited about our featured esteemed faculty member, Gloria St. Martin-Lowry. Very great expert, wonderful thought leader, and I'll do a proper introduction of Gloria in just a moment, but we're so grateful that you're here, Gloria, to share your wisdom because you have so much corporate experience inside and then as an external expert, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment, but thank you for being here. So grateful to have you watching our YouTube replay as well as being here live. I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of this very, very fine council. We are growing. We're so happy to be supporting, promoting, highlighting, and showcasing coaches and consultants, trusted advisors, and thought leaders. And that's who I am as well. I'm a coach, gosh, since 1998. I was doing the math the other day. I was like, wow, how did that happen? Time flies when you're having fun. I'm an author and a speaker and longtime C-Suite Network member. So I just thought to kind of set things up properly, what is this all about? It's so important about developing allies, advocates, and even champions in the work that we're doing. In a world post-COVID that, we all kind of pulled inward, regrouped, now's the time to build communities. And how do we really do that? And so we've got a quick definition here of allies and advocates. They're a little bit different. And I know, Gloria, we'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment in kind of a casual Q&A style, but advocates are really using the resources that they have to partner with someone else for mutual benefit. Advocates are the people who will actually publicly go to bat for you and recommend you. And of course, champions are the people who will really rally for you because there's benefit for those all around. And so we know the stats. If you're a coach, consultant, trusted advisor, thought leader, it's so much easier to sell, quote unquote, or expand the work you're doing with existing clients than going out and trying to find new clients. And so the importance of these beautiful relationships we have, it's so critical right now. It makes great business sense, but it also, from a relationship perspective, it's so rewarding to work with current clients. And so I'm inspired to do it. I have to tell you, Gloria, in anticipation of our program today, I've been culling through my databases and all of the people that I've worked throughout the years and reconnecting with them consciously. So today's program is inspired by you, Gloria, and I'd like to tell all of you that Gloria St. Martin-Lowry is president of HPWP Group. She is an experienced thought leader in leadership, and she specializes in creating sustainable cultures that maximize employee productivity. And having personally trained and developed executives, managers, frontline employees, and leaders, she's also a master trainer and facilitator. She has a proven track record of delivering results to organizations, cultivating communities within organizations, and getting high performance results. I'm so impressed because, Gloria, you've been in the trenches with over 25 years of HR experience. You've been in corporate doing the work, and now you get to bring that expertise and real world experience to your business. And I think what also is so exciting is I have the printout, which I've read. I'm so excited about your Harvard Business Review article that is really getting great press. The three key metrics that employee engagement surveys miss. I love you got a little controversial edge there, Gloria. Great.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. Very good. And so we wanted to have a conversation about how to develop allies, advocates, champions in the work that we're doing. And I think, for us personally, even internally with our clients, but also externally as well. So thoughts, Gloria, how have you been so successful doing this in your work?
Yeah, I love that you put up the definitions of allies, advocates, and it really strikes me that with the kind of work that we all do as coaches and consultants, it is if you're focused on being an advocate first, then it becomes easier to be an ally. And if you believe in the people that you're working with or for, supporting, and advocating for them, and with the changes that they want to make, either personally or as an organization, then it feels like the rest of it falls into place. Right. And so, I'm not sure if other people have experienced that, but for me, it's just, you work with people, and most of us don't work with people we don't like. Right. Most of us work with people we really do like. And we just, when we get to know them more, then we like and respect them even more. And when you're there for them, it feels like there's that reciprocity, and becoming real allies makes a difference. Becomes a lot easier.
Yes. And Gloria, I was in my research for today also had another statistic that I know you can certainly comment on it and you've experienced with your clients is at the same rate of us wanting to retain those great client relationships and not have to go out and scout so many new clients, just nurture and love up and give great results for our current clients. Employee engagement, what our clients are dealing with in their organizations is engagement is at an all-time low. And I just was reading another statistic that literally 60 to 70% of Gen Z, Gen Y are completely not engaged. They're actively looking for their next gig. So it's kind of a paradox. How do we build engagement and loyalty and advocacy with those people when maybe they got one foot in and one foot out? What do you
Yeah,
say? Yeah.
totally agree with you. You can just read, research report after research report, and frankly, even talk to Gen Zs, especially, and millennials, to get their perspective on where they're at. They haven't seen the commitment to them. They haven't seen companies take care of the people on their people in their companies. They haven't seen them take care of their fellow teammates. And when you see the downturn in the market and companies just quickly jumping to layoffs, it reinforces the mindset of younger workers to say, I've got to focus on me. And I think we've overcomplicated what it takes to deal with Gen Z. We've got to meet them where they're at. And that's just sound leadership advice for any person, because not all baby boomers are alike. Not all millennials or Gen Xers are alike. We tend to paint people with a broad brush. And, you can go back through the generations. One generation complains about the next, complains about the next, complains about the next. I think it's funny to hear millennials complain about Gen Z, and they do, right? And to me, it just reinforces the importance of establishing relationships. It's doing what we do as coaches and consultants, right? Which is to establish relationships. Do that with the people on your teams. That's what leaders need to be doing, is finding out what makes a person tick, right? Finding out what it is they love, what energizes them, what sucks the energy out of them. How can you make it work? Doing check-ins with people. It Once you start building relationships, you're showing that you care about people. Then it's easy to have just a frank discussion about expectations. Here's what I expect here's what you can expect out of me. Let's lead with that, right? Here's what you can expect out of me as your leader. What else do you expect out of me? Now, in turn, let me tell you what's important to me at work. And it feels like all the folks who are coaches should be the ones as leaders in organizations, because I think this group really more naturally gets the importance of building relationships. I sounded long-winded, Kathleen. Sorry if I
It's
a lot of
perfect.
things in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Well, and also related to this, there's so much that's being promoted now, of course, about, trust is coming back around. I don't know that it ever left, but a lot of articles, a lot of press about trust. So Gloria, what are your thoughts and strategies about building trust to then, maybe have, I hate to say it, but the end game of building advocacy and, of course, building allies?
Yeah, trust is essential. I mean, trust is essential in relationships at work. Trust
Mhm.
is essential in relationships with our clients. And sometimes it means that we need to be willing to have the hard conversations. We need to talk about the things that are uncomfortable. I can think of some of the relationships that I've had, even as a consultant, that are so strong today, came with some challenge. It came with some skepticism. It came with some concerns about trust, right? And the opportunity to speak more directly has significantly changed those relationships. And so, if that's it for me, working as a consultant, think about what it's like for team members, people in the organization who aren't in leadership positions, who are having to trust what other people say, having to trust what their leaders say. Um, Trust in the corporate world um, is a lot tougher just because of the size of organizations and the impact one stupid move can make, essentially.
Yeah. And Gloria, curious about, then you also building advocates and people to do the work that you and Sue do so brilliantly, because we've seen you develop from your core clients councils and mastermind groups, and you've really been building advocates and allies and champions for the work that you're doing, that they are coming to you for small group works outside of in addition to their corporate work. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about that. What, it's all about building advocates and champions, isn't it?
It is. And I
Yeah,
love that you shared the statistic at the beginning about it's easier to get work from
for
people
sure.
that that you've worked with in the past. And our strategy really these last couple of years has been, we've tried all the external stuff, right? Lead gen, mass campaigns. And for us, we haven't been that successful at that stuff. So for us, it was to say, we've got people that we've known for years. We have 3,000 people who've come through our leadership workshops. We've tried to connect with as many as we can on LinkedIn. And so what we've always done was stayed in touch with some folks, not everybody, but some folks. And if we look at where our work has come from in the past, it was because we kept those relationships going. I worked with a corporate L&D executive at one company, and she'd moved on to several. I was always, because I thought she was amazing, right? So I always kept in touch with her. I saw she was looking for a job. I reached out to her. I pointed her in a couple of different directions. And with one time that I did that, she's like, "Oh no, I've already got another job and it's amazing. And let's talk." Well, it turned into doing business with her. And so for us, we just continued on that path to say, let's develop our own community. People love the philosophy. HPWP is high performance workplace. They love the philosophy. The workshop is, we'll pat ourselves on the back. It's transformational. It causes people to think differently. And because of that love, it made it easier to develop a network, a mastermind. And so last year we launched we call it the Alumni Network, and we bring in people every quarter. That is about the individual and not about their companies. That whole focus is on supporting them as individual leaders. And you want to talk about allies and advocates. Gosh, what a great way to be supportive, to be helpful, to challenge thinking, and, work toward the mutual benefit of everybody.
What a great model, Gloria. And we want to take all of your questions as well. But what a fabulous model. And I and we can see how much that nurtures you, as well as certainly it nurtures them. And it just seems that the advocacy and the allyship of these wonderful people that you've brought together, it's just a natural thing that's happening. And what are your thoughts about what could be a next step, or how can you I'm kind of moving us into a little tactical and strategy here, Gloria, thoughts about how you could expand that or leverage it, so to speak.
Yeah, as it relates to the network.
Yeah, yeah. And again, this is never about using people. This is never about any cajoling or anything. No, it's about true building trust, adding value, and, stepping forward to say, hey, what could be next for us?
Yeah. And I guess the first place that I would start is thinking about the relationships that we do have. And I'm going to talk about some of our current clients. One of them is fairly large. They've embarked on their ERG, employee resource groups. And in a traditionally male dominated industry, this one focused on setting up a number of ERGs. They started with women in leadership. And so for me, it was a way to, I thought what they were doing was amazing, just setting up ERGs in general, kind of broadening the mindset and opening eyes to people, to senior leaders. And so, I stay connected with them to understand what they're doing. And I've had the opportunity to volunteer my time to speak, right? We're connected enough that she's reached out to me to say, do you know any nonprofit groups that support women that we could connect with and partner with? So that is a form of allyship, because we've got that mutual respect for one another. I still want to be able to support them in what they do. And so it's understanding what people are doing even on a different level. And the network that we've set up, our alumni network, has been amazing, because we get to reconnect with people that we really like, people that we admire as leaders, people who want to continue to grow and develop, want to support other people. So for us, we would look to just continue to expand that network, because this is not just about us getting business. This is about creating community and them helping each other. We have people reaching out to one another within the groups. Some people are going to do some job referrals to other people within the groups. And, we are, what's next for us is that group becomes a preview for the things that we do. So they get the advance notice of what's on the horizon for us. And we're planning a retreat for September of this year to get that group together in person. We've taken at HPWP, we've taken a lot of inspiration from what the C-Suite network is doing, what you're doing, Kathleen. And it is constantly looking and saying, what's next for us? How do we take this and improve upon it? We're never going to have this network running and just say, okay, we're good, plug, turn on autopilot. It's about, okay, so how's that working and what's next for us? How do we expose the group to more and better? And when we know that if we're doing good by them, we reap the benefits, because it's just gratifying. And we know we'll reap the benefits in additional work. That's not the primary focus of it. It is about keeping this philosophy top of mind, so that leaders make a difference and think about their sphere of influence and how do they make a difference for the people that they work with. We probably should be a little more focused on the sales side of it, but make a difference first, and then we'll figure out how we keep it growing from a revenue standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, you are certainly a serve first person, and building the relationship and loyalty and adding so much value. So from a tactical perspective, would love to get your viewpoint. And of course, your other questions that each of you may have as well here. Just wondering about, building allyship, building advocates and champions in the organization, leaning into asking the questions, about, will you support me in this? Will you help me expand in this? I think that is an art and a science, leaning into the ask, because I think that what I have learned is that people in organizations and corporations, they won't necessarily initiate the referral, so to speak, or they won't necessarily initiate the recommendation to another department, division, vendor, supplier, something like that. So, what are your thoughts, Gloria, about how to initiate the ask of a referral or recommendation?
Yeah, good question. For me, it starts with really creating that relationship, providing value, and then we got to get over our own insecurity to then be willing to ask for it. Because for a long time, I didn't want to ask for referrals. I just didn't. I didn't want to take advantage of a relationship. And what I found is that the stronger the relationship, the less awkward it is. For me, it's always still going to be a little awkward, but we ran into some tough times last year. A lot of clients kind of pulling back and saying things are a little iffy. We're not canceling. We're just going to push off to 2024. Well, that just put a big damper on things. And so we had to get through the end of the year, but more importantly, we had to figure out how could we come into 2024 strong. And one of them was me asking a couple of things from a particular client. I mean, we did it in other places, but we've got this one client I'm thinking about is as a lot of other companies that they've acquired. And I was just honest with where we were at in our situation because I've got a great relationship with that person. And I said, I'd love to talk with you about getting introductions to the other brands within the company. And so we set up time to be able to do that. And had already been talking about two of the other brands that they were going to be including in some of the training that they were doing. And so I wasn't looking forward to doing that. But you know what? She was so professional, so supportive. It wasn't a big ask for her at the end of the day because we've got a great relationship and that's built on trust. And she's a person who, as a senior HR person, doesn't have a whole lot of people she can talk to in an organization. So, I get to be a sounding board and, that level of trust was definitely there. I'd say the first thing is we got to be willing to if we build relationships, we got to be willing to put our insecurity aside and ask, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to say, no, I don't have anybody to refer you to.
Well,
Most of them will say yes. And then you got to, prompt and prod to get that followed through on.
Yeah, really great, Gloria. And certainly you have earned the right to ask for a recommendation, referral, testimonial, something of that. And I think that just leaning in and asking, and the more we ask, the easier it becomes, right? Becomes part of our operating procedure. But I was never taught that early in my career. And yeah, exactly. And, of course, in our Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, we have got so many resources for how to make that ask and build our asking muscle. And I'll quickly share with all of you that I learned the lesson early on that with a large enterprise-wide company, insurance company in Southern Illinois, I'm sure SF would be their initials. I was only in one department with one advocate and one user buyer, and I did not have the skills to move out and to build relationships with other departments and divisions and different economic buyers. And therefore, when there was a buying decision, I was solely at the mercy, so to speak, of one particular department and one particular group. So my business was put at risk because of that. I didn't have the relationships, the advocates, allies, and champions in other areas. And so it was very, very difficult with my business to expand it. And so learned a really great lesson 25 years ago about the importance of building those relationships, trust, earning the right, and everything that you're saying there, Gloria. Leaning into the discomfort of hey, we've done such great work together. I'd love to expand and have more opportunities to work with other departments and divisions and people, who would you recommend that I speak with? And people are willing to say yes, of course. They want to help you. Yeah. Yeah. Any more for that? Did you have an experience of like I did of, oh geez, this puts me at risk, a little comfort zone, feeling that everything's great with the one champion, the one advocate is not enough in an
It
enterprise business.
it is not. And for us, that's happened a couple of times because we tend to have a large client and then a bunch of smaller clients. So the large client kind of fun stuff, but then that cycle runs through. And so how do we expand with that or get more? It's becoming easier for me now doing that because with some of the companies that we're working with, they've got other divisions, maybe smaller, but it's, how do we cross pollinate? And so you just got to do it. You just got to push through it and do it. But I don't know, it's getting easier. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's less uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like you've really made it part of your whole process. And the easier, the more asks that we make, the easier it is to do it. So, yeah, really great.
And
Yes.
for us, we've really focused on saying for every client, lead, and prospect, what's our relationship strategy? Because for us, we've really said this is with what we do, it's all about relationships. It's relationship selling. And the strategy for one will be different from the strategy for another, but it's that strategy on how do we build relationships? And when you do, the ask is a lot less awkward.
Great. And what I'm also noticing, Gloria, from what you're saying, and we'll start to kind of wrap up here, is what you're doing is you're also modeling for your clients that they also should be looking for advocates and allies and champions, and to really be expanding the footprint of their careers and their impact in the organization. And again, to get back to the gender thing, I was never taught that. It was, but yet I would see my male colleagues be able to just do it with such ease. And generally they would do it over beers or 18 holes of golf, so it's a really it's a way of operating that's really important. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, good. So I'm seeing some things in the chat here. Also, questions that each of you may have of Gloria. We've got this very special time to connect with Gloria in all of your experience. And I love, Gloria, that you so much about this, but you really tell it straight, lady.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
see Teresa's comments in here.
Yeah.
For women, we talk different. So sharing tips on voices, we're tough little girls. We're heard that we should be seen and not heard. And for those of us that are a little older, it was working in working in the work world where it was you needed to be more like a man. Nobody said that. It's just sort of what we assumed, and it was to try to fit in. And don't fit in. What I want to say is and it's easier for me to say now later toward the end of my career, feeling a lot more confident, is we have to be who we are, and we have to speak the way that we speak. And there's no one style to be able to do that. I think women have an advantage because I think we're more naturally curious. I think because of that curiosity, we build relationships, perhaps easier, deeper relationships that have a connection. And when you get a connection, then you get to be whoever. And separate from that, what I would say is don't let anybody mansplain. Just stop it right when you look for the opportunity and jump in and say, well, I have a different thought on that. I'm not sure that I agree with that. For me, I tend to say I have a different thought on that. When I have a stronger relationships with people, I'll just say, that's BS, right? And so But if you've got a really good relationship with somebody, you can say that to them. We've had we had one client in particular, a leader, a man, who said, well, you guys are just really good at, referring to me and my business partner, Sue, I really need a dose of that subtle shaming from time to time, because it is, asking him questions about what he's doing and challenging the thinking. And he goes, okay, uh-oh. And the relationship was good enough that he could say, yeah, you do some subtle shaming, and I need that. So Teresa, I feel like I've I've done a word salad right there. So hopefully some of that resonated. If you've got a clarifying question, let me know. But we have to be ourselves. And that's what I hope is groups like this, is it helps reinforce we have value, and we don't need to be a different persona for people to realize that value.
Great, great counsel, Gloria. And at the same time, also, we can't continue to be the best kept secret in the world at what we're doing. So leaning in and asking for what we want, and using our relational strengths to build those communities like you are doing, and build relationships, and expanding the work that we're doing, because it does make a difference. So
It,
yeah. Yeah,
and
great.
be willing to ask for, like, we'll make the ask, I'll give a proposal, and when I don't get anything back, then I'm following up to just say, I'd love some feedback on that. Where did it resonate with you, and where did it not resonate with you? And this only makes me better. And so I have found that people are more willing to share feedback with you when you come at it from a standpoint of like, look, it helps me get better, even if you're not going to go forward with this proposal.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Always learning, always growing, and adding value. Gloria, thank you. Thank you. Great. So, ladies, we'll complete our time here, because we get in, we get out, and there's so much great knowledge and strategies that we learn. And so, Gloria, thank you so much for being our esteemed faculty member and sharing your words of wisdom, your experience, and a lot of great takeaways here today. Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you. And so we'll complete our program, because we're stepping up the activity every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. We've got programs every Thursday, because we are just on a mission to expand and promote and upgrade coaching around the world, and supporting the coaches and consultants out there that are doing the work and are really the light workers. So, coming into so many great questions from you today. Thank you. Thank you. More to come, because every Saturday, and we're now on our 86th consecutive Saturday Women's Success Circle. The topic is different every week, and we have literally 27 minutes where we get together. No Zoom calls, no PowerPoints, just we talk about a topic. Everyone leaves with a newfound inspiration, motivation, and some new education. So with that, and then of course, Saturday, by command and replay, I heard so many women say, hey, I want to be able to get more focused on what my vision is for the year. I don't want to jump in and start doing. I want to have something that's inspiring. So I decided to do a little activator program this Saturday, really my gift from me to you. And it's all about activating a vision that inspires, motivates, and pulls us forward to greater impact in the world. So that's this Saturday. And of course, today, our esteemed faculty member as well, Christina DiGiacomo, is launching her new Technology Council in C-Suite Network. So you've seen the notices. Go to LinkedIn. You'll be able to find a notice about this. Today's the launch of it. It's really, really exciting. She is really stepping into a new vision, and just great to participate and support our sisters like we always do. So thinking about this, what's your biggest takeaway from our time together with Gloria St. Martin-Lowry? What's your biggest takeaway? And words of affirmation or acknowledgement, we always love that, right? love to pause and we'll complete our time. What's your biggest takeaway from our time together? Just jump right in and you can unmute. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. We know you can jump in.
Yeah, Gloria, this was amazing. Thank you so much. I have notes. I have a page of notes. So thank you so much. You have so much wisdom and you shared from the heart. And I love that about you. So my takeaway was just nurture, right? To keep nurturing those relationships that you have started to build, continue to add value throughout the seasons that you have that client, and then right, not to be afraid to ask. Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila.
And Sheila, so delighted that we both got the telepathic memo about the pink jackets today.
Yeah, definitely.
Bringing
I
the
just,
pink.
it's always the thing it's always important to remember to, go back to the people that we've done work with in the past. That's the best place to start when we're trying to grow or rebuild or what have you.
It's true.
Thank you,
I
Nancy.
think for
Beautiful.
me, it was really about being able to acknowledge our strengths and be able to not be ashamed of those. Like we're always taught to be really humble. Yes. And so as I'm going through something right now, as I transition, I find myself really red in the face when I have to talk about myself. And I have so many ideas now from this conversation to be able to leverage my strengths. So I really appreciate your time today, Gloria. This call was for me, and I'm going to take that away and do great things.
Yeah, that just the smile on your face makes me super happy.
Oh, fantastic. So mission accomplished, Gloria. Thank you so much. What a great program. And gosh, we're just going to continue to add value and keep showing up and delivering and expanding and growing. That's our mantra. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Adore you, Gloria. So appreciate and just admire you so much. Thank you for being in our orbit, and we are in yours as well.
I love this group. It was weird being on this side, but kind of fun.
Very good. Well, more to come. Good.
And I love that you always have interesting artwork behind you.
I have to move my desk depending upon the sun.
That's great.
Very nice. Well, great. So we'll see you all very soon. Thank you. And help us to grow our council. So invite a friend, and we're going to do some social shout outs. The replay will be up within 24 hours, and we would love to get some activation for Gloria on this. So with that, bye for now. Lots of love to each of you. Let's go forward. Champions, allies, and advocates. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.